Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for Journaling on a Budget starting over week 18. And I said we were going to do tags and stuff this week to go in the book. We are going to do something to go in the book, but I'm not so sure how many tags we're going to get or whether we'll use the tear rulers or not. Because as I was cleaning up after the last video, I took the last ruler out of here and put it in my drawer rulers. My drawer of rulers. But anyways, I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is like separated. It's perforated on there. And I thought that was just so cool. And I thought it would be cool to make like 3 bookmarks, tags, whatever you want to call them, to put in here and put it in our book. And as I was pulling stuff out to make tags, I came across where we made our own see-through tape, and so I thought that would be really cool because we've also got the blue one that I didn't put on the paper. And in the book I found this belly band here that would be a really good place to put this and slide it in because it will stick out a little bit on both sides. It'd be something good to put in that belly band. So today that's what we're going to do. So this is just to show you, like, think when you see something, especially when you see something and go, that's different. Just think about maybe what you could do with it. If you buy yourself rulers from the Dollar Tree, you'll wind up with something like this. And, they just did that to hold them. If you've got one of those melty things, because that, I can tell that's what did this. It was obviously a big machine, but it just rolled across and melted between those rulers to hold them all in their spot so that they wouldn't go jiggling around in there. So we're just going to do this. It may not be something that you have, but it may be something you can kind of recreate. Now I have to decide which one of the blue tapes. I think I like this one. So I'm just going to stick it on here. They're not going to need to be this long, but I'm going to put this one in the middle. And I already glued this book page to a piece of tea-dyed paper. So that it would get a chance to dry a little bit. And I'm going to kind of stamp on them a little bit and maybe put a little background color in here. Yeah. Before I cut them, because I just think that would be a little bit easier. Trying to think of what I want to do for the background color. I hadn't thought about that till just now. So I did grab out some distress inks. Well, pink's not going to work. Let's do a little bit of orange and blue. I don't want really dark blue. We'll do, okay, so the orange that I grabbed out is spiced marmalade, broken china for the blue, and then I've got some green here, and this is peeled paint. So we'll use these 3 to just get a little bit of texture in the background. I had also picked up some stencils at the Dollar Tree and some stamps. So I just wanted to show you those. I got these stamps, and these are the self-adhesive type of stencils. I really like those because they stick down. And then I got these bird stamps along with these butterflies and flowers. And then I got these butterflies and this one with some really nice things on it. These would be nice to put on some of the tags when we get to doing those. But what do I have that's kind of, I'm looking for something. I'm going to use this. I'm looking for something that would just kind of make a bit of a background, because these are only going to be 1 inch wide, so they're barely going to be any wider than that. But I just want some color on that book page. So I'm just going to put that on there and put a little color through it, just so that it's not blank on both sides. And I like the self-adhesive, but I'm only using part of this stamp, so it doesn't matter if it moves on me. And I'm going to just be doing such little bits and moving it a lot. I'm not going to take the part off the back. I am just going to see what this does. So I'm just going to kind of go in here and try and get just a bit of color. Yeah, just a bit of color around the outside edges of that. And it doesn't matter if I go over top of it, which I am. But so see how that just gives just a little bit, so it's not just a plain old book page. And because of what it is, you know, just those little bits, it doesn't, you know, it's not mattering. I don't know how I want to say that. We're able to use this edge of this stencil to give us some interest, but not make it look like the feather that it is. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be cutting it at, so I'm going to just fill in any blank spots. I want to kind of make this just a little bit darker up here. Maybe just a little bit more right here. And there we go. So there's the green. And I'm going to do, am I going to do the same thing with the blue? I am. Maybe I'll go ahead and use this part for the blue. Oh, this kind of swirly part maybe I'll use for the blue. And that is probably a telemarketer. I'm not going to answer it. If it's anybody important, they'll call back. I had to answer it earlier because I knew who it was. And I apologize for that ringing in the background. There we go. Oh, I like the way that that looks. It's too bad we're going to cut most of that off, but the thing is we are going to cut most of it off. But then we can use it for a snippet roll. We can use it for some collage bits. You know, just because we're going to cut it off doesn't mean that we won't get any use out of it. And sometimes it's nice to have those things just laying around when you just really need to quick throw something together and it's already there. So you don't have to like worry about trying to figure out what you're going to do. Now I am going to wipe this off, and I got some paper over here. I probably should just grab one piece and get those out of my way. Just gonna wipe it off so that I can use the orange. And if you do it on a piece of paper, you'll get a little bit of background from that also. Go. I'm going to use a wet one too. There. So see, now there's just a little bit of background interest, but it could be used for something. Alrighty, now we will do the orange. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edge of this. And I'm going to come down here as far as I can. That's looking really cool. Now I'm almost not wanting to do with it what I had in mind, but I can always recreate this later for something else. There we go. Okay, that's good. I'm going to wipe this off real quick. I normally am not real good about taking care of my stencils, but since I had the paper here and I had the wet paper towel, I might as well. See, doesn't that look cool? Alrighty, so now I'm pretty sure that this is, let's get a real ruler that I haven't chopped up. It's probably 1 inch wide. Okay, it's just over an inch wide. How's the one in the middle? It's about 1 1/8 inches. And let me kind of see if I can figure out on one of our rulers how wide the ruler itself was. Going to one of the flat parts on the other side. And that was about 1 1/8 inches. So that's how big we're going to cut these, 1 inch and 1/8, because then they should slide in there really nicely. But before we do that, I wanted to stamp on them just a little bit. Excuse me. Oh, and I'm going to do it in black. Now I'm double guessing myself, or second guessing myself as to whether I want to do them in color. No, I'm going to do them in StazOn black because we're putting it on the tape. You know, the stencil really was meant to go on the paper. So that's Distress Inks, but Distress Inks aren't going to stick to the tape so well. See, so, you know, a permanent ink would be better. And as a matter of fact, I'm even going to wipe that ink off. So I got some rabbits, and I'm going to put those on the green. And then I have some ocean. I'm just going to maybe put 2 of those. Then those and 2 of those, and what can I do in the middle? Just something. Just because, just a couple little lines. And I'm going to, because this one is super wet, I'm going to try and blot a little bit off. Ha, looking that cute. There. Okay. All right, so that one is good. Actually, let me grab a dry paper towel. There. Because that is, StazOn is meant to go on slick surfaces, but it does stay wet just a little bit, and I'm being impatient. So, all right, so that's our bunny rabbits. Now, I think I'm going to do the ocean on the blue and the birds on the orange. No, I think I'm going to do the ocean. I've got an octopus and a starfish and an angelfish. So, these ones, I probably should, when I do them, pay attention as to what side's up. Okay, the angelfish. Oh, that wasn't good. Now I'm gonna, worst thing you can do with a rubber stamp, which is basically what these are, they're foam, but they work the same as a rubber stamp, is try and line them up. I did it. Try and line them up once you've stamped with them already. It's not a good idea usually. And the starfish. My paper is very bumpy underneath. This was kind of bumpy, and so they're not stamping the best, but that's totally fine. They don't need to. It's really just for a little bit of interest. I'm gonna dry those off too, and then we'll do the birds on the one in the middle. I love the birds. I think they're so pretty. And these are one of two things. They're either a die cut, a die that I cut out of fun foam, or little pieces of fun foam that, like I got at the Dollar Tree, and just put them on this piece for to make it into a stamp. Looking for a black pen. I don't know if this will work or not. Nope. Of course it doesn't work. It has tape on it. Pens with tape on them mean that they're dried up and I can use them for drawing on my because we're sitting on 2 wires. There we go, right on a wire. If I put a tape on them, it means they're dried up, so I can use them to draw on my fun foam when I'm making my own stamps, and then the ink doesn't get on there. Okay, so those are cool, and I'm a mess. And now I'm going to just cut these 1 1/8 inch wide. After I put my stays on away. Always make sure you cover your stays on. It does dry up fairly fast because it's a solvent ink. And I've got a huge mess here because I pulled out a bunch of stuff to make tags with until I had seen that other and decided that I wanted to do this. Okay, so that's one thing about crafting. You can always do whatever it is you want to do. You can change your mind at any point in time. Oops, sorry about that. I'm trying to work around the tripod. Okay, so 1 1/8 inch. So that's 1 inch. Oh, I have a line drawn, it looks like, right there. At 1 1/8 of an inch. Just kind of try and make sure it's fairly straight. Ooh, that's going to cut right on the edge of my thing. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to kind of come over a little bit. Because I don't want to cut on my tape. I want something on the edge. All right, now I'm going to make it 1 1/8 of an inch and see how it looks. Go, and it's definitely not going to be that long, so I'm going to just cut that off. It's kind of cool. So see, that can be used as a bookmark. You can write on the back if you want to, and the biggest thing is I need to see how long, where did that belly band go? There it is. I need to see how long that is. Okay, that will fit in there. I will be able to make my plastic that large. So I'm going to make them all this size and then put them in the plastic and fold the plastic over. Alrighty, so I'm just going to hold it up nice and tight against the top to get a straight line on this side. And then see if I'm going to cut the bottom off right now because I've got tape sticking off the bottom, and that's going to make me possibly not be able to keep it straight. All right, 1 1/8. And making sure that down here it looks like it's about the same. Okay. And I'll cut them all at the same time in a minute. I'm going to cut this off about, maybe not quite that close, right about there. And then 1 1/8. Alrighty. So I like the top of all of them, so I'm going to line them up like that. Because the book paper doesn't come quite to the top of the tea-dyed paper that I put on there, I am going to cut just a little smidgen off the top to get rid of that where you can see where the two pieces of paper come together. I'm going to hold that together. And I want to cut them all approximately the length of this orange one. There we go. So now we have 3 of them, and they're all the same length. Now, look at these extra bits of paper. See, these are really cool. So we're going to keep those, use them for something. And I'm going to really quickly, let's see, did we, yeah, we used this as a stencil. I'm going to just quickly go around the edge. I don't want to get too much up on the paper because I don't want to cover up the stenciling that we did, but just enough to give it a little definition. When you stick it in the pocket, it will just kind of give it a border. Okay, and I'm trying not to get too much on the back from my hands because I've made such a mess. But I think these are, now I could have rounded the corners also, which I love to round the corners, but because this is going in such a straight pocket, I'm going to leave them straight. And lastly, the green. Yeah, that really does just, it will help it to stand out. And now, the other thing I have to figure out is, this pocket is going to be, see if I can find a clean spot on my wet paper towel. Okay, the pocket is, it's a belly band, so this, whatever's in the middle is not going to show. So I have to decide which way do I want it to go. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rabbit on this side because he's facing that way and looks like he's hopping. And then because it's a blue page, I think I'm going to put the birds on the outside over here, and I will put the underwater in the middle. And so let's see how this is going to work. I don't know if I should cut it first, and if I want it to go that way, and this is my front, and I want it to go like green, and then the orange. They're fitting nicely, and then the blue. And they're not too tight, but they're also not too loose. That's ripped right there. So I got to get underneath that. There we go. Underneath that piece of plastic. Okay, now I want to slide them all the way to the bottom. And I'm not so sure if that's just going to be a real pain. And I should just cut it first. Let's see here. Oh no, this is working really well. Let's give it a slide. Yep. And the last one. So this is just something to show you, you know, like when you have something that looks kind of neat, and maybe it doesn't look kind of neat. This was a piece of plastic I was getting ready to throw away. If I hadn't seen those perforations on there, I wouldn't have thought anything of it, even if it had been sealed between the 3. But when I saw the perforations, it was like, that's really cool. I took a closer look at it, you know. So always remember to look at what you have, because it's not, you know, you don't have to always get everything at the craft store for it to be cool. As a matter of fact, when you get stuff not from the craft store, a lot of times it's even cooler because you may be the only one that's got it. And even if you're not the only one that's got it, it's not going to be all over the place. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with using stuff that everybody else has. And there's nothing wrong with using stuff that's just yours. It's totally up to you, you know, how you want to do things. I'm going to see if this is going to be too long. sticky portion. It did. It just reached. It's a little on here and a little on there. So I'm going to just cut off the excess. And there we go. I think that's awesome. I really like it. And then we're going to put it in our book. And there we go. We're going to put it right in here. And that just goes really nicely with the green and the blue, and there's even pink there for the red. So that's fun. So remember to always look at things in a different way, because they can do some really awesome, make really awesome projects for you. So let's see, what else do we have here? I wanted to maybe do a little bit of stenciling since I've got the stencils out. Let's look at, because we've got this whimsy back here and everything, and we've got this beautiful stencil. Get my board. Give me something hard to stencil on. And I really think, now I got to figure out what do I want to do here exactly? I think I like this one. Kind of just up here in the corner. And I probably should attach it down, but I don't think I'm going to. But I do need to make sure that I hold on to it and don't let it move. And this is quite a wet ink pad, so I'm kind of leaving a little bit of marks from the edge of my thing here. So I'm just kind of covering those up before I move it so that I don't have a bunch of lines in there. And voila, that's very pretty. And then do I want to put one here? I think I do, because then I think that maybe what we'll do is maybe put a little something between the two. Like a word or something. Maybe make a little label and put a word on it so that when the tag comes out, the page itself is still interesting. And also, if you just feel that your page is bare, you can just do some background stamping, and I've showed you how to do that with just a wadded up piece of paper, just to kind of put a little interest on your page. So we've got that, and then that goes in there, and then maybe if we put just a little something here with a word on it, that would be really cute. I think I would like that, and I think maybe doing that in a gold or something would be cute. So since we don't have that here right now, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to go ahead and check through. So we kind of know how we're going to finish off that page. And then let's cover this up before I make a total disaster. Okay, so we've got our working board. Put that back in the back. We've got our flip up here. And okay, so see, because that was really wet ink and this is just copy paper, it came through lightly. It looks awesome. I'm glad that it did. That is so cool. So there's still a place to write. You can still write on top of that. But until you do write, it looks really awesome. This page, I think I had decided to leave plain. And I don't know what we're doing there. We've got an envelope here. There's nothing to put in it right now. I did have this tag that we just kind of put that on and did the background stamping. Let's see, what else do I have here? I like this one. This is just a tag with the background stamping with our stained glass tape and the background stamping. It's just a book page with a little bit of white paint on it. And maybe do something on the back at some point, but I think that would look really nice right there. I really like that. So I'm going to put that there. I don't have anything specifically. I really like this. I could make a band to hold it, but I'm not sure, and the coloring's not quite right. So I'm not going to push it. I think this one needs a pocket. So, and maybe even like a lace pocket or something. We don't have any lace or anything in here, but I'm going to put that there and leave it for when we come back to it. So we have this one that we did these stamps on. And we have the pocket here to put them in. And I'm thinking we need something here, and I think that this would be perfect to have there. And this is what I think I'm going to do. It's a little bit big. I'm actually going to put it on an angle like that. So the top is here and the bottom is on the flap of the tuck spot. Now, what do I have here? Victorian velvet. I need to see how dark this is. That will work. I'm not gonna, now, you know, when you do your feathers, you could do them in all of the correct colors with the turquoise and everything else, but because this page is pretty much monochromatic already, I'm going to keep it that way and just use this. Maybe touch it with something a little bit sparkly, because there's a little sparkly on the journaling tag. I'm going to hold it down right here so I can get this really well. And actually, I do have some pink can't think of the name of it. I have some pink paint here, which actually I think might have been used on that. And I think I'm going to use just a touch of that. This is a Martha Stewart multi-surface pearl fruit punch. Oops, that was way too much. I'm going to use this sponge that I used on the rabbit to just kind of go in and put a little bit of sparkle on top of that, because the color was a little bit dark and the tag is a little bit sparkly. So I want the page and the tag to match. Well, it's not a tag. What is it? It's a journaling card. I want them to kind of match. Yep, I like that. Now it's got a little bit of the darkness. It's got a little bit of the sparkle, which I don't know if you can see. But I think that that works really well. And then I'm going to attach that pocket down. So this is the foam upholster adhesive from the Dollar Tree that I was recommended to use by a few people that said it's as good as the Fabri-Tac, and it does seem to work really well. I've only used it a couple of times now, but it really does work well. So thank you very much for your recommendation. I really appreciate that, because it works well. And the thing is about the Fabri-Tac, it's a lot more expensive. Not only is it a lot more expensive, but you know, it starts to get dried out and becomes a real pain. Well, this is a small bottle for $1, but the thing is, the big bottles, you know, you've got to kind of unless you use them really fast, then you have to put stuff in. Some people have told me like different things to put in them to loosen them up a little bit. I haven't tried any of that yet either, but I'd really prefer not to have to do that. So I'd rather have the little bottle that runs out before it gets dried out. And not dried out, but too thick to come to the edge of the bottle. So there we go. I think that looks really cool. And then we are going to put the tags in there. So that's going to kind of cover it up. But you've got a little here, a little there, and then when you take that out, it makes the whole thing. So that makes it really cool too. This, while I've got the ink out already, this does need to be edged. I do have a thing about, I really do like to put an edging on my journaling cards or my tags. And again, that's just me, doesn't have to be, but I like the way that looks. Just makes it stand out a little bit. And this one, it looks like I already did. Not sure with what color, but it's already got it on there. I'll put that one in the back, that one in the front. And, you know, this is kind of plain. And since I have the stencil out already, and I have a little bit of paint left, I'm going to hopefully not ruin my card. Just put a little bit in the corner. Don't get it all over the place. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And it's a little bit of the sparkly color. Why can't I think of the name of that? I know you all know it. And it's literally on the tip of my tongue, I'm telling you. It comes as a powder. I usually use eyeshadow for it in place of it. Oh, I like that. Can't think of it. All I can think of is pigment. It's not what I'm trying to say. There we go. Excuse me very much. Oh, I like that. That looks really nice. Where's the other one? Does it need anything? It's already got a lot. And it's this is a very muted one. If I put that on there, I think it would be too much. I think it has to stay that way. I think that we need to put those like that. And then we're going to put them in here in that page when all of that is dry. So we didn't get a whole lot done today, but I think that we got something very cool done there. And getting those fixed up worked out well too. Oh, and we got the stencil on the front. So I'm not sure what we're going to do next week, whether we might do more tags and stenciling, or maybe do something different and then come back to some more decorating of the pages another time. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.